Well, in the hot seat tonight is Veena Babu, a doctor from the East End of London. I know you're a GP, I know you take your job desperately seriously. Do you understand why we're now having this debate, which we've never had at any point in my life, or my mum's lifetime? We've never debated this. We've always had absolute faith in GPs, in the NHS, and now, as you probably know, a lot of people are paying to go private. What's happening?
So to be on the receiving end of this is actually heartbreaking, if I'm honest with you. You know, even getting told from someone like yourself that trust is breaking, that not affection, but that love almost, you know, the person that you...
Reverence.
Yeah, reverence that you turn to when you're unsure about something, you want a bit of guidance. Yeah. And trust me when I say we see this day to day when every patient walks through the door and they sit there. The last couple of months, the first 5 minutes of most consultations, I'm spending apologising, saying sorry, you've had to wait, or they're spending venting to us.
And are you sensing more frustration in patients?
100%, 100%. And you have to let them vent because that's their space, you know. But by the time we get to talking about the problem, we're already 7 minutes into the consultation. And then it's never one problem. It's always a couple of things that have powered up because of the pandemic or because of, you know, whatever reason they couldn't get an appointment, like you said. It's really hard. I think when you take a step back and to answer your question, what's happened, I think it's a supply and demand issue, you know. There aren't enough GPs to meet the pressures of what is required at the moment. And I think after the pandemic, everyone has such high expectations. They need everything solved in that one appointment, and it's actually quite difficult. It's very, very difficult.
Well, it's only 18 months ago we were all standing outside our front doors.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were clapping you, Veena. We were saying what a marvellous job you were doing.
I mean, yeah.
It's not just the pandemic, though, is it? I mean, there is a problem. We have a population that is rising by, well, some years, 500,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the government have promised more GPs. Well, we're going to need an awful lot more GPs, aren't we? But why? Why, oh, why? Given what you're seeing, and I'm sure what you're seeing in East London is what GPs all over the country are seeing, how could it be, in that situation, that a proposal gets put overnight to reduce the opening times of surgeries by another 2.5 hours a day? Where is the sense of that? I mean, please defend your friends in the medical profession who are putting this forward. So
I don't see any sense in that either. And in my personal experience, I don't think that's a wise move. I wouldn't be supporting this, and I don't think my colleagues would be supporting this because it's just not realistic. 9 to 5, it's just not realistic. The fact that it's 8 to 6:30 leaves a bit of room for... People before
working
work
in offices and things like that. I mean, otherwise,
children,
what are you?
Schools.
Yeah, what are you saying to people? What's the message?
Yeah. So I think the fact that it's 8 to 6:30 gives that room for if you have to drop your kid off school, if you have to, you know, leave before work, after work. 9 to 5 it's just not feasible. And it's not just the doctors who work, right? It's the nurses, the physios, the pharmacists. There are lots of other clinics that happen, the cervical smears, the vaccinations. So you have to think of the entire unit of services we provide, not just the doctor that sits there. Personally, I don't think just having 9 to 5 is feasible, and I just think that's going to mount the frustration way over the edge.
All right, well, now, I hear what you say, so will you make your voice heard?
Absolutely. I think if all of us were to come together and voice this, I don't think we'd be in support of reducing hours at all. I'm confident I can speak on behalf of my colleagues. I don't think it would be benefiting anyone. OK, so if this proposal gets knocked down, and I hope you're right, and I hope you and your colleagues do speak out on it, because the public PR sell on this is absolutely catastrophic at this time. But what are the positive ways out of this? I think there needs to be a bit more transparency, if I'm honest, because people think doctors just sit there, like you said, they earn a lot of money and they don't see a lot of patients. What are they doing? I think there needs to be a bit of transparency of what actually happens in our working hours. It's not just seeing patients, it's going through prescriptions and blood results and hospital letters. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that patients may not really understand. So it's not just that your doctor just sits there, sees you for 10 minutes and then has a cup of tea. So I think there's a lot more that could be relayed to the audience about transparency. I think that could be the first step. And listening to our patients, listening to what they want. So having
They want appointments.
Yes.
I mean, that's what they want.
No, but they want choice, don't they? Because there's a lot of people who now don't want to leave work and come for a fit note, may just want to have a phone call, but there might be another population that want to actually come in.
I get it. The Zoom consultation suits certain people in certain situations, prescriptions, etc. But there are many, many others deeply unhappy. Well, it's an absolute pleasure, Veena, to have you on the show and discuss these things. And I'm going to be watching very carefully to hear your voice of opposition on this subject. And I hope that tens of thousands of doctors join her in this. This is really, and you heard it there. Patients are coming in to have their consultations and they're venting their frustration, their near anger at struggling to get appointments. It's an issue that really, really matters.